Welcome in to the DodgerDan podcast show. Let's treat this as episode 1, but it really is technically episode 5. But let's actually make this episode 1 because today is the day that I increase my commitment to YouTube, to Spotify. As we all know, TikTok is closing up shop very shortly on Sunday, unless President Trump or whomever else figures out a way to save it. I know many of you are saying that it's not going to close. We shall see. I don't know what's truth or not. At this point, I'm going to move forward as if it is going to close and expand the DodgerDan network, the DodgerDan universe. We're going to commit more to YouTube, to Spotify in 2025. Before I kind of jump up, I do want to say one shout out to one of my followers, Joel Lopez, who's been one of my most ardent supporters since the beginning. I remember when Talking Baseball was trying to find Dodgers content creators, he alerted me, and then so many of you stepped up to tag them in videos. They probably hate me at this point, but that was when I knew that we were building something special here. And so he goes by the name Swag Demon on TikTok. But Joel, I do appreciate the support that you've been giving me since the beginning. When I talk about day ones, you have been there, you and your fiance. So I do appreciate you. Shout out to you. And then shout out to all of you for helping me grow my YouTube channel. In just one day, I think I went from around 600 something to over 1,100 at this point. I might be at 1,200, and that is again a testament to all of you. I would not be able to do this and even have the desire to do this if it wasn't going to some group of people who were interested and committed to making this the best Dodgers community on the internet. So I do want to get those shout outs out there. Now, if TikTok were to go away, I do plan on continuing to do Dodgers content, your daily doses and all that stuff on YouTube, on Instagram. Red Note, I'm still uncertain why the US government wouldn't also shut that down, because that is truly a Chinese-owned company. And if the reasons for why TikTok went away are consistent, then Red Note would likely go away as well. But all to say, I will hop on if it feels like there's a large movement towards there and people, or I guess it's not going to get banned because I just don't want to go through this again. So we'll see what happens with that. Otherwise, I really encourage you guys to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I promise you, it's going to be more than just some of the daily dose content. I'm going to try and do more actual video content that you see on YouTube. It's something I've been trying to think about exactly how I want to go about it, and how to best make stuff that you guys would be interested in. But you guys subscribing early lets me know that there's an appetite for this. So to reward that commitment to me, I do want to commit to you all and make some good content there. Otherwise, yeah, just keep following on all the social platforms. I do feel like the TikTok algorithm was helpful in making sure that even if you didn't follow me, you would get a lot of my content served up to you. Now, I do acknowledge it's a little bit of a more difficult process to try and get to some of my content. And so that's where subscribing, setting up alerts, things like that help. And even if you guys don't fully watch it, just engaging with the content, I do think at some point does help boost it to other people who may not follow me. And I know there's a lot of good Dodgers content creators out there. So if you don't follow me, that is all good. Totally understand. We only have so much time in this world, and committing to another podcast or another YouTube series is a lot of commitment, and I totally understand that. So no pressure. But for those of you who have subscribed, who have followed, who have been with me on this journey, let your friends know. I think I bring a little bit of a different perspective to Dodgers coverage. I know I'm not the most knowledgeable. I'm not the most even like baseball knowledgeable or Dodgers minor league knowledgeable, anything like that. But I do think I'm growing in that. I'm learning as much as all of you and sharing my knowledge with all of you, and I'm trying to get better and better at it. Hopefully a year from now, it'll be even more polished. I am hoping to move more into doing some interviews. I actually used to have a different podcast channel where I did interview some of my friends, but I would love to start interviewing people in and around the world of baseball, especially the Dodgers. And so if any of you are connected to people within the organization, tangentially connected to the Dodgers, and they're willing to spend some time with me, I would love to do some interviews with them and just get this ball rolling. I do feel like my conversational skills are pretty good. Growing up, one of my dream jobs was to be a late night talk show host, like a Conan O'Brien style. I think he's someone I really admire as far as his intelligence, his ability to really connect with guests and get really good conversations. That's what I'm trying to emulate as well. So anyone out there who potentially is connected to the Dodgers can put in a good word for me. I would love to be able to do that with some of them. Not today, tomorrow, until the 23rd, all of our minds are going to be on Roki Sasaki and wondering what is he going to do? I do want to reemphasize the internet is a very toxic place. And a lot of the discourse that I've seen regarding Roki Sasaki from the Padres and the Dodgers fans on both sides, I want to be honest, on both sides, can get really bad. And it's something that I'm not necessarily a fan of. I do think you can hope for Roki Sasaki to join your team without gaslighting him into saying he's a bad person or not for competition or XYZ thing. And I think on the other side, for Dodger fans, it's okay to want him and be disappointed that it doesn't come, but also acknowledge, that we don't necessarily quote unquote need him to win another World Series, as a singular player in baseball does not make as much of a difference as a sport like basketball or the quarterback position in football. I think baseball is a very unique, romantic game where at any point, somebody can step up and just be the hero. So many times you've seen in the playoffs, players go on magical runs that maybe their regular season production wouldn't indicate that was in them. I can always remember Daniel Murphy with the Mets just going ballistic. Even for us, Kike Hernandez, is he going to come back or not? We're not sure, but we know that when it comes time to playoff baseball, he's a different beast, a different animal, and steps up when he needs to. So that being said, Roki Sasaki is definitely the prize of this offseason, and we've already seen some, I guess, quote-unquote problems that have come with waiting to see what his decision is. We've lost out on some international free agents who either we had committed to us and we had to kind of let them go because we want to save up as much money in the bonus pool as possible. And I don't want to minimize that impact, because part of why the Dodgers are good is that we continue to reload and restock our minor league system. And if you look at Dalton Rushing, Zaire Hope, guys like River Ryan, Landon Knack, we're constantly doing that work of making sure that who we have coming up can fill in and replace guys that come out or leave, especially on a cheap contract where we have control over those players. So I don't want to minimize that, but my mentality since we signed Ohtani is that we are in a unique window where we are playing with the best player in baseball. And because of that, we're going to get a lot of players to come in a win now mentality. And it's going to require us to move out some players who we know have potential to be good. We've already seen that with Miguel Vargas and Gavin Lux and maybe even earlier Michael Bush. And not to say that they're definitely going to be amazing when they go to different teams, but it's talking about potential. And so we're losing out on a lot of players who have very high potential, and we're saying it's worth it because over the next 9 seasons now with Ohtani left, how many more World Series championships can we win? So it is a calculated risk by the Dodgers, and some of you I know are sick of the Sasaki coverage, are sick of us pretty much punting on everything except for him, not re-signing Kike Hernandez, not making movements toward Tanner Scott, maybe not committing to the Devin Williams trade when we could have, when you look at what we got back for the Gavin Lux trade, and that was maybe the hang-up. So I know there's a lot of anxiety around what's going to happen. So I just want to provide reassurance to you all that the Dodgers are still not only the betting favorite, but I think just if you look at it logically, the favorites going into next season. Roki Sasaki's decision either enhances that or just improves a definite contender to us, but still puts us in the driver's seat to go back-to-back. So it should be interesting. It should be exciting to see where he goes. Either way, I think the baseball world is going to go in a bit of a frenzy. But Dodger fans, I want to encourage all of you to try to remain as classy as possible. Don't get pulled into the trenches. Don't engage in behaviors that if they were to be exposed to your loved ones and family members, they would question why you would say something like this. I know it's the internet, but it's still people on the other side of that, so try your best to maintain some level of decorum and don't get too nasty. That being said, Roki Sasaki, please come to the Dodgers. I promise you it'll be the best decision you've made in your life up to this point, professionally in particular. So Roki Sasaki to the Dodgers. Let's keep our eyes peeled. Everybody else, please subscribe to all platforms and follow. We're going to keep building this thing in 2025 and make it the best space for Dodger fans all around the world. Let's go Dodgers.